Hi there. I'm so excited to welcome you to the Arthritis Life podcast, where we share arthritis life stories and tips for thriving with autoimmune arthritis. My name is Cheryl Crow, and I am passionate about helping people navigate real life with arthritis beyond joint pain. I've been living with rheumatoid arthritis for 20 years, and I'm also a mom, occupational therapist, video creator, support group leader, and I created the Room to Thrive self-management program. I am so excited to help you live a more empowered life with arthritis. We're going to cover everything from kitchen life hacks to navigating the healthcare system to coping with friends who just don't get it. Seriously, no topic is going to be off limits on this podcast. My interviewees and I share our honest stories of how chronic illness affects our lives. This includes discussions about mental health, sex, shame, pregnancy, body image, advocacy, self-acceptance, and so much more. You'll hear stories from all ends of the spectrum, from a person who's living in medicated remission from psoriatic arthritis to somebody living with severe mobility restrictions and severe pain from rheumatoid arthritis. You'll hear how people manage their conditions in different ways, like medications, mindfulness, movement, social support, work accommodations, and so much more. You'll also hear from rheumatology experts who just get it. We'll dive deep into the science behind chronic pain and what's the latest evidence for lifestyle changes that can help you thrive with arthritis, including exercise, sleep, nutrition, stress reduction, and more. This is your chance to sit down and chat with a friend who's been there. Ready to figure out how to manage your arthritis life? Let's get started. All right. Welcome, everyone. Today, I'm so excited. It's going to be a little bit of a different episode than usual because instead of interviewing an adult living with inflammatory arthritis, I'm going to talk to three amazing young people who are living with juvenile arthritis. And you might have heard the phrase juvenile rheumatoid arthritis in the past, but that's actually an outdated term, just to get that out of the way first. The diagnosis was changed to juvenile idiopathic arthritis to highlight that these conditions, there's a whole spectrum of them, and they're really medically distinct from adult forms of inflammatory arthritis. So there's some little bit of difference in treatment approaches and stuff like that. But let's get to the fun part. So I want you all to be able to hear directly from these kids themselves about what it's really like to live with juvenile forms of arthritis and what they wish adults understood better and what gives them hope. So first, we'll start with introductions. I'm going to have each one of you tell everyone how old you are, where you live, and one thing you like to do for fun. So let's start with Peyton.
I'm 12 years old, almost 13. I live in central Wisconsin, and things I like to do are reading and swimming.
Nice. Awesome. Okay, let's go to Mackenzie. How old are you? Where do you live? And what's one thing you like to do for fun?
I'm 11 years old. I live in Oakfield, Wisconsin, and I like to do sports like volleyball and basketball, and I also like to cook and bake.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I already am going to ask. Have you heard of Paige, who was on the Kids Baking Championships? She has juvenile arthritis. Oh, okay. I'll have to make sure to let you know afterwards. She has juvenile arthritis and she's now in her 20s, but she was on this nationwide show on the Food Network all about baking. So that would be really fun to connect you with her. Awesome. Okay. Now, Adelie, can you share how old you are, where you live, and one thing you like to do for fun?
I'm 7 years old, almost turning 8, and I live in Uveitis, Wisconsin. And one thing I like to do for fun is art, reading, swimming, or cooking.
Awesome. I love art and reading too. I love everything you guys said, except volleyball. That's a little bit hard on my hands. I would like to be able to do it if there was no pain. Yes, so awesome. Now I want to know a little bit more about how and when arthritis became part of your story. Now, I know that sometimes people are so young that they don't remember it, but I want to ask each one of you, starting with Peyton, what is your diagnosis story, or how did you get diagnosed with arthritis? Peyton, go ahead.
Like you said, I don't remember it. I was 1.5 when we started noticing stuff, but I got diagnosed at 2. Basically, it was like limping,
something going on with my crawling. We went to several doctor's appointments, and I remember when I went telling the story, we went to a doctor's appointment. She said she's not leaving without answers. We went to physical therapy, didn't work. And then one night, my ankle was like the size of a softball, and they thought I just got hurt. They checked, I didn't. And we went to the doctor the next day, and then that's when they took the test and found out I had it.
Wow. Yeah. Well, good job to your mom for advocating. A lot of the adults who got diagnosed as adults, like me, well, I felt like a kid. I was diagnosed when I was 21. I still felt like a kid. And I actually, even at that age, I needed my mom to help me advocate because I also had doctors that were like, you're fine. You probably just hurt yourself and forgot. And so I think it's always good to remember that if you know your body better than anyone else, and then as a parent, you know your kid better than anyone else. Thank you for sharing that. How about Mackenzie? How did you get diagnosed with arthritis? What do you remember? What do you know about that story?
I was 3 years old, and we noticed that my knees were swollen, and I noticed that they were stiff in the morning getting out of bed. And my mom took me to my doctor, and she had to take a lot of tests, and she recommended that I go to Children's, and my nurse practitioner in rheumatology knew that it was exactly juvenile arthritis.
Wow, I'm really glad that so you got your diagnosis pretty quick, it sounds like. Yeah, that's really good. Sometimes it's lucky, it's the luck of which doctor you see that day and whether they know about it or not. So I'm really glad you had that experience. What about you, Atali? How did you get diagnosed, or what do you remember, if anything?
Well, I was diagnosed at 18 months old, and one day I quit walking, and I didn't really want to walk. It hurt so bad.
Yeah, that is I'm sorry that happened to you. And that is a really common way that kids at that age, before they can really explain, like most 18-month-olds don't know how to say, Mommy and Dad, my knees hurt. Or they're just saying, Mama, Dada. In my son's case, like car, train, ambulance. Those are the only words that he basically was saying at that age. So you have to watch the kids' behavior and see if they start changing. Like with Peyton too, start not crawling the same way, limping, stuff like that. So can I tell you guys a funny story about my son? He doesn't have arthritis, but because I have rheumatoid arthritis, and I'm an occupational therapist, which is similar to a physical therapist for the purposes of today. And one day I noticed he was limping, and I was like on the lookout because I know all the signs of juvenile arthritis. He was like about 2. And so I took him into the doctor, and they're like, he has a splinter. He doesn't have arthritis. He just has a splinter in his foot, and that's why he's limping. And I was like, oh my gosh. But they said, it's still good that you took him in because a lot of parents don't know that kids can get arthritis, right? So anyway, I just thought that was a silly story because they're like, you're probably the first person that took their kid in that thought they had arthritis that didn't, versus most parents, they take their kid in thinking they don't have arthritis, and then they're shocked that it is. But anyway, so having arthritis, for me, I've had it for 20 years now. So one of the most difficult things for me, and I'm not sure if it's the same for you, is doing a lot of trial and error, like trying different medicines and figuring out which medicine is going to be the right one. I'd love to hear from each of you a little bit about your experience with treatments, whether that's medications or other things. What was it like for you to start treatments for arthritis? Let's start with Peyton. If you have ever felt completely lost or utterly alone while trying to navigate real life with rheumatic disease, listen up. I am here for you. I created an educational program to help you go from overwhelmed to confident, supported, and connected in a matter of weeks, and it's called Room to Thrive. After earning a master's in occupational therapy and completing hundreds of hours of additional training, I created a step-by-step guide to help you truly thrive with rheumatic disease. This is the only program I know of that's designed to improve quality of life for people living with inflammatory, autoimmune forms of arthritis, like rheumatoid arthritis, psoriatic arthritis, ankylosing spondylitis, non-radiographic axial spondyloarthritis, Sjogren's disease, and more. During the self-paced lessons, you'll learn how to manage pain and fatigue, cope with stress, navigate relationships, and continue doing the things that matter to you and bring you joy. The goal is really to help you improve your quality of life and learn how to thrive with your rheumatic disease right now, rather than waiting for a distant day when it might be cured or healed. I really created the down-to-earth, practical, heartfelt resource I wish I had had when I was first diagnosed at age 20. If you want even more in-depth support, you can join the 12-week Room to Thrive virtual support group, where you'll be surrounded by people who actually get what you're going through, people who will provide the encouragement, validation, and support that you deserve. Each group is expertly moderated, so you don't have to worry about the kind of misinformation that spreads like wildfire in the free-for-all social media groups. If you're on the fence, don't just take my word for it. Here's what Katie had to say in March 2023. I was lost and overwhelmed with my RA diagnosis. It felt overwhelming to know what to read, what to do, how to spend my energy trying to research on the internet. Room to Thrive did that for me. It's been like getting a crash course in my diagnosis along with a community who gets it. To see all the details, including the dates for the next support groups, go to the link in the show notes or bit.ly/thriveroom with a capital T and capital R. You can also just email me anytime at info@myarthritislife.net. And don't delay if you're interested, because each group is capped at 16 people or less in order to make a small, intimate group atmosphere. Thanks so much for your time, and I can't wait to get started with the next groups. And I can't wait for those of you who are interested in the self-paced option to go ahead and join that at any time. Bye-bye for now.
I was really young, so I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
But I remember I'd have to take a wide variety. Some would even be restricting, like there was one where I couldn't eat 2 hours before and I couldn't eat 2 hours after. So I was at a camp and I had to watch everyone eat my favorite food and not being able to eat it. But I've also had to take shots, infusions, but it's really a wide range.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, what is your treatment looking like today, like these days?
I have 1 shot weekly and infusion monthly, and it's a medication called naproxen for my ankle if it starts hurting. And then I use heat to help.
Nice. Yeah, I like heat, switching between heat and ice. Do you prefer infusions or injections? Just curious.
Infusions.
Yeah. Why? Out of curiosity. You don't have to share, but
I don't know why I don't like the smell of the alcohol wipes has always got to me. And the stuff they use doesn't smell that much. Plus, I get to meet new nurses and people all the time, almost all the time. So it's fun to meet new people. Plus, they have good snacks.
Oh my gosh. Yes, I agree with you. I think infusions can actually weirdly be relaxing, right? Oh, I'm just going to lay on this chair for a little while. So yeah, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing. I'm on weekly shots and I'm on a pill, an oral medication that's a biologic there's a few of them for adults that are pills instead of shots or infusions, which is cool. But Mackenzie, what about you? What's your experience with arthritis treatments been like?
It's been like really scary sometimes because when I was little, I had to go under anesthesia to get steroid injections. And then I had to start an at-home injection called methotrexate. And then I had to try different biologics for my uveitis. And I kept getting side effects on my legs, like itchy rash. So then I had to switch to Remicade infusion.
Yeah. What helped you cope with all those ups and downs?
I mostly just tell Peyton was saying just rest and ices it. Or I just sit by my dogs and it usually just makes me feel better.
Me too. I feel like every infusion center and every doctor's office should have 5 dogs. Wouldn't that be amazing? Awesome. Thank you for sharing. And I'm sorry that you've had so many different treatments in your short life. What about Adelie? What's your experience with arthritis treatments?
Well, I have good and bad. One made me, it would usually make me really mad or really sad or make me start feeling dizzy or limping. I know.
Did any of them help?
Well, like infusions, they really help me, and I'm doing way better now.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good to hear. That's the goal, right? The doctors are like really wanting to find the right treatment, the right medication for the right person. Hopefully in the future, they're going to have better ways to figure out exactly which medicine is going to be best for you before, so you don't have to try ones that don't help first, right? But they're not quite exactly there yet. But now I really would love to hear, this is two different topics together, but about how your juvenile arthritis has affected your experience in school and with friends. So sorry, that's a two-part question, I'm realizing. But let's start with Peyton. Whatever you want to share about how your arthritis has affected school and friendships.
With school, it's where the appointments have mainly affected because there was a time in the first quarter of the year where I missed a lot of school. And then I'd have to make up those assignments and then the assignments at the days I went. So a lot of stress got stacked up there. But I have some friends who know what I have, and like if I have to sit out, some of them will even come and comfort me, and they can really keep my mind off it. Plus, I have like Mackenzie and Natalie who are really good friends too.
Oh, that's amazing. That's so cool that you all live nearby and you have each other. That's the dream. Other than a cure, the dream is a cure, but also given that there's no cure at this exact moment, having friends is huge. How old were you all when you met each other?
I think it was 2 years ago, so maybe when I was 10.
Okay, yeah, nice.
And Mackenzie when I was 10, and Natalie when I was 11.
Nice. Awesome. I'm really glad to hear you have good friends. I joke we have arthritis friends and non-arthritis friends. So I have a lot of arthritis friends, such friends that understand it from the inside out, right? And then friends that don't have arthritis, but they can learn and be there for you, right? So that's awesome. Okay, Mackenzie, how has your juvenile arthritis maybe affected your experience in school and with friends?
It made it hard to read in school because of the dilating eye drops I had to do. And when I had to miss a lot of school due to doctor's appointments and when I was sick, I have to make a lot of stuff up. So sometimes it would get hard and frustrating. And occasionally it's hard to keep up with my friends, but they've always been understanding about everything.
Yeah, I think that's so common. And I just want to expand a little bit on what you said about having uveitis. That's one of the things that really tends to affect children with juvenile idiopathic arthritis and similar forms of juvenile arthritis that doesn't affect as many of the adults for some reason. It just affects children more than adults. So that's a whole other thing that you have to be thinking about and going to different doctors for that, as well as the jaw. I don't know, have any of you three had any jaw pain? I have an occasional pain from my RA, but something about having arthritis as you're growing, as your jaw is developing, it tends to be even more painful for kids than adults. So I'm just saying that for the adults listening too, or just to understand. Those are some of the reasons they'd renamed it to juvenile idiopathic arthritis, not just juvenile rheumatoid arthritis, because people just thought, oh, it's just rheumatoid arthritis in kids, but it's a different condition and there's lots of different diagnoses within it. Anyway, I'm rambling as usual, but let's go to Adelie. Well, how has JIA affected your experience in school and friends?
Most of my friends are able to do what I couldn't really do, like jumping to running at certain times. But besides that, I have a really good school, and the teachers are really nice to me.
That's really nice. Yeah. And but I'm sorry, it's really hard of watching your friends do something that you really want to do with them that you can't do, right? Because of your arthritis. And all three of you, or two, Peyton and Mackenzie, you mentioned having to take time off from school. That can be really challenging. At least I found with adults, it's more like taking time off of college or work. And sometimes your boss or your teacher is really understanding. and really helpful. And other times, people can be kind of mean about it sometimes. And so we have to learn to advocate for ourselves, right? And say, it's not my fault. What do you want me to go to the doctor? The doctor's only open from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's when I'm in school, right? So anyway, that's a little rant. But I would love to hear from you three now about what helps you cope emotionally on the hard days. That's one of the things I'm most interested in myself. I'm always trying to figure out what can we put in our coping toolbox is what I call it. But what things are going to help us cope and feel a little bit better on the bad days? It could be something like a physical body tool, like an ice pack, but it could also be something like pets. I think we already mentioned once, things that make you smile. Let's start with Peyton. What is something that helps you cope on the hard days?
Sometimes a lot of times heat helps me, but mentally, if I have a song that's stuck in my head, I'll just sing the song that's in my head or replay, like when I read books, like I get the image in my mind, replay that or from a movie I watched. Another thing that helps is remember fun times I've had with my friends or at like the summits or the walks.
Oh, that's awesome. Can you tell us a little bit actually about when you say the summits and the walks, you mean like the Arthritis Foundation, JA Summit, and then the walk to cure arthritis. Can you tell me a little bit about those events? Because I want the audience to learn about them too.
The walk, they're always in different parks. They're really fun. They have all the people that sponsors them there. Sometimes they'll do interviews with the directors. It's always really fun to be there with them. It's also fun because every year I like to bring some of my family. And there's one friend who loves to go with me. She was mad she didn't get to go this year. But the summits, it happens once every year where you can get people all over the U.S. into one place to see each other. I have a friend in Virginia. I have a friend in Missouri who I don't get to see except at Summit.
Yeah, it's so fun. I've only gotten to go to the big summit twice, but it's been so fun each time. And I've been to this thing called Pathways, which is like the JA Summit, but it's for adults. I've been to that a couple times too. And I think, the Walk to Cure Arthritis is a great fundraiser for the Arthritis Foundation, and they have them all around the country. So I'm in Seattle, here in Wisconsin. They've got them in Florida, New York, California, everywhere. So I'll put links in the show notes if people want to get involved in that, because I've made some friends at those events too, like other people in my city who have arthritis, which is really fun. But now to Mackenzie, what helps you cope on the hard days, either mentally or physically?
I usually like to rest it and just lay down on the couch and use either a warmie or an ice pack. And then my dog Mickey usually comes up by me and usually makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah, that's really sweet. My dog is. Do you think your dog kind of understands sometimes when you're in pain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine does too. Sometimes he'll lick my fingers. If my knuckles are hurting, he'll start licking them. It's funny. I think he's trying to help, but that's really sweet. Rest is so important. Rest. Protect your right to rest. Sometimes as you get older, people might pressure you to sacrifice your sleep and rest, but we still really need it, especially with arthritis. Yeah. What about Adelie? What helps you cope on the hard days?
My dog or my family, snuggles, or TV.
TV, yeah. And dog family snuggles TV. Oh my gosh. That would be a great to-do list, your daily to-do list. Dog, family, snuggles, TV, right? Yeah. What are some of your favorite shows on TV?
I like gymnastic shows because I'm really into gymnastics right now.
Oh,
So I would watch Gymnastics Academy, My Perfect Landing.
fun. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. I only watched the gymnastics at the Olympics. I didn't know there was like shows about it. That's really neat. I gotta check that.
They're on Netflix.
Netflix. Nice. Awesome. Thank you for sharing. I even ask the adults on my episodes. I always like to know what people are watching and listening to. because it always gives me some good ideas too. So awesome. All right. The next topic is helping others. So, first of all, thank you three already for being here because you're helping other people learn about juvenile arthritis just through sharing your stories. But I'm also thinking about what would you want another child your age to know if they were diagnosed with juvenile arthritis today? What's something you would want to tell them? It could either be like a pep talk or it could be like a piece of advice. Let's start with Peyton.
I'd probably say they're probably going to hear this a lot, but you're not alone in it. There's several people out there who go through the same thing as you, better than you, worse than you. If you have someone you know who has it, my suggestion would definitely be reaching out to them, because if you have a friend with them, they can help you, give you stuff. Oh, this doctor might actually be really good. This place is really good. This is a good activity to do in. There are a lot of stuff that the Arthritis Foundation, and if you have any friends with it, that can help you with it.
That's awesome. And you know what? I think you can never hear that too many times that you're not alone. It really is so powerful. So thank you. Thank you for sharing that. What about you, Mackenzie?
It might be hard at first, but once you find the right medicine, then you'll start to feel better, and it will also help to find friends that also have J and have stuff that is similar to what you have.
Yeah, that's so helpful. Finding just a few people that really understand is so powerful. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. What about you, Adley? What would you tell someone who is diagnosed today?
Well, if you have juvenile or oligoarthritis, you're not alone. There's lots of people out there who have arthritis.
Yeah, that's really important. That's really important to know.
And keep on pushing through.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Do any of you have an inspirational saying? I have one behind me. It says, "We can do hard things." That's something I tell myself. Yeah, Adelie?
You're strong. You're stronger than anybody you know.
Whoa, that's a good one.
I usually say if you got this.
Yes, I like that one too. Or what about you, Peyton? Do you have any, or do you just say whatever's on your mind?
I normally just tell myself, just think about the good stuff you have now and hope best for the future.
Yes, I like that. You guys might be actually too old for this reference already, but I think from Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I literally think that sometimes because I'm like, keep going, keep going. It's all you can do is keep going. And now I want to give you a chance to share. What is one thing you wish more grown-ups or adults understood about what it's like to have arthritis as a kid? So starting with Peyton, what do you wish grown-ups understood more?
I have two things. One is we're not faking it. My mom has a sticker on her water bottle. It was invisible battle, visible strength.
Oh, I love that. I haven't heard that one before.
Yeah, my mom has it on her water bottle of collecting panda stickers.
Nice.
Second one would be, since I have Mackenzie, Adelie, my other friends with arthritis too. We're not friends just because of our arthritis. We're friends because of how we are together. We're ourselves by each other. We met each other because of arthritis.
Wow. Yeah, that's such a good point. I really love that. Thank you for sharing that. What about you, Mackenzie? What do you think, or what do you wish grown-ups understood about kids with arthritis?
That although that we look healthy, we still have a lot of battles we have to go through, and it's a hard disease for kids to understand what's going on inside of them.
Yeah, that's so important. That's something that I hate to say it, but even when you're an adult, it's hard for other adults to understand, much less other kids, that you can look healthy but still be sick, right? I think that's a really important lesson to share for people. And I wanted to also second what Peyton said about you're not faking it. That's one of my big pet peeves. I actually used to work in a school as an occupational therapist. And whenever any teacher or other employee there would say they think a kid was faking it, I would always jump in, even if it wasn't my conversation, and say, how can you know if someone else is in pain? You can't know for sure. So why on earth would you accuse someone of faking it when there's no way for you to know what's going on in their body? Anyway, that's one of my rants. That's one of my soapboxes. So I think that I'm really glad you shared that with everyone else, because I think people need to hear that a lot. I'd rather believe every kid that says they're in pain, and then maybe if 1 out of 1,000 are faking it, fine, whatever. I'm still going to believe everyone, right? As my default position. All right. Okay. Now that I got my rant out of the way. Okay. Adelie, what is something that's something I wish grown-ups understood, actually. But I'm supposed to be asking you, Adelie, what do you wish grown-ups understood about kids with arthritis?
Of what pain we go through to find the right cure.
Yeah. I really hope that there's a cure soon. I think there's some really exciting research happening right now. But thank you for sharing. I really hope there's a cure soon. Now we're starting to get a little bit towards the end, believe it or not. You've been so good at just answering these questions. You're all pros at this point. I think you're awesome interviewees. I wanted to ask you each if there's anything else you want people listening to know before we finish, either about you and your story or anything about kids with arthritis. Peyton, how about you go first?
I mainly want to thank the Arthritis Foundation because we met because of arthritis and the Arthritis Foundation, technically, because they've brought together so many people, and they always have fun activities and snacks.
Yes, snacks are so important.
They sometimes have good ones. Plus, at the summit, every time it's a new place, so you get to try new things and go new places. That's one of my favorite parts about Summit.
Oh, that's so cool. Yeah, and it was in Indianapolis this year, right? And I don't know where it's going to be next year, but for any adult, do you know where it's going to be?
It's going to be Kansas City, Missouri.
Ooh, I want to go there because that's where Taylor Swift is and Travis Kelce. Yes, awesome. That is so great. And anyone listening who's an adult, you could still get involved in the JA Summit as a volunteer too. So that's something cool to know, that they're always looking for more volunteers to help, whether it's getting snacks or other fun stuff. So thank you. What about you, Mackenzie? Is there anything else you'd like to share with the people listening, or like people to know about arthritis or your story?
That many kids with JA have more than one autoimmune disease. Like in my case, it's arthritis and uveitis.
Yes. Have you heard that phrase, autoimmune diseases don't like to travel alone? I don't know if you've heard of that. Yeah. Hey, they like to bring little buddies along with them. So other multiple diagnoses. Yeah. And that's really hard to live with multiple, right? Yeah. So you're really strong for, all three of you are really strong for persevering and still doing your best to live a good life with JA, right? Yeah. Awesome. What about you, Adelie? Is there anything else you want people to know about arthritis or about you or anything? Yeah, go ahead.
If you're stuck behind a wall, just find a way to go over it. And if you're like stuck in the house or something and you want to go play, you always can have you have a dog, you could play with them, or you could sit in the backyard and throw a ball.
Yeah. What I hear from that is there's always something you can do, right? Even if you can't do maybe what you wish was like your number one choice, you can maybe do your number 2 choice or number 3 choice. So I think that's a really good life lesson. Okay, because we have an extra few minutes, I wanted to ask one more question if it's okay. And this is just for fun, because I actually usually end the interviews asking a couple rapid fire questions for fun. But one of them is, what are you currently reading, or what's one of your favorite books? And since I think all of you mentioned reading, is there anyone who wants to share what yeah, Peyton, go ahead.
So there's actually a story behind it. At the summit, there was an author called Audrey Penn. For people
Okay.
listening, or maybe have you heard the book Kissing Hand?
No.
It's basically where a baby raccoon is scared to go to school. The mother kisses the hand, and anytime they're scared, they can just place it to their cheek, and you'll feel them always there. The same author came to Summit and gave us the story of it, how she actually saw a raccoon do that. And she got me into a new series. It's called The Mystery at Blackbeard's Cove. It's about like how 4 kids want to help an old lady who passed away, who wants buried at sea, to go on this ghost ship. And there's 4 series, and she's already got me hooked to the book.
That's incredible. That's so great to hear. Okay, I'm going to look out for that one.
The author, Audrey Penn, actually does have arthritis too.
Oh my gosh, really? Oh, that's really neat because I have a little collection. There's one, this might be for when you're a little tiny bit older, depending on what your parents think. I have a 12-year-old, but I'm still learning what he can and can't read. But this is called Cursed. It's written by Carol Ruth Silverstein. She has JA, and she says, warning, chronic pain may cause irritability, sarcasm, and bouts of profanity. And it's really funny. It's about a high schooler who has JA and is not happy about it. But she's venting a lot, but then she goes on a journey. And I love reading stuff written by people with arthritis. That's so cool. Thank you. Any other books that you've been enjoying lately, or those? The main
I think
one.
that's the book.
Yeah. Nice. What about Adelie?
I like Chase August. It's where this dog named August has a tumor in his brain, and he ran off into the forest, so the owner has to find him. And then I like in a blank, the book that I found at the near public library.
That's really cool. What about you, Mackenzie? Have you been reading anything lately, or do you have a favorite book?
I like mystery books. I like National Park book.
Oh, cool. Have any of you, when you were littler, did you ever read any books that have a character called Moomin? The Moomins? Your parents might know about the Moomins. They were these little trolls from Finland. But what's funny is I just went to the Moomin exhibit. This is Moomin. There's a Moomin exhibit in Seattle right now. So those are cute they're little picture books. One of them is called The Book of Moomin, Mooble, and Little Mai. And they're super, super cute. But my favorite book when I was 12 was probably Anne of Green Gables. Have any of you read that one? Oh my gosh. Parents who are listening, classic. They must read. That's my homework for you. No, you don't have to read it. But Anne of Green Gables, it's about a young orphan girl in Nova Scotia, or in Prince Edward Island, Canada, who gets adopted and has a series of adventures and misadventures. And she's just a really fun character. Anyway, so I love talking about books. But we are probably going to just wrap it up just for time's sake. Talking to you has been so fun, and I really appreciate all of you taking the time, and your parents too, for helping organize this. And as Peyton said, the Arthritis Foundation, and all 3 of you said nice things about the Arthritis Foundation. They actually put us in touch initially because they're like, hey, would you want to have these cool girls on your podcast? And I was like, yes. So thank you to them. And hopefully I will see you in person maybe one day, and maybe next year, Kansas City. I'll have to look at my calendar, but at the JA Summit, that would be so fun. All right. I'm going to say bye-bye for now, but thanks again. Bye-bye. Bye. Thank you so much for listening. This podcast is supported by Room to Thrive, an educational program I created to help empower you to live life to the fullest with rheumatic disease. In the program, you're going to learn evidence-based tools for managing all the ways rheumatic disease affects your life. And my goal is to help you go from overwhelmed to confident, supported, and connected in a matter of weeks. You can go through the pre-recorded modules on your own in the self-paced course, or you can take the course along with a robust support group. of new arthritis friends to support you and cheerlead you along the way. Learn more in the link in my show notes, or you can always go to www.myarthritislife.net. And if you like this podcast, I'd be so honored if you took the time to rate and review it. I also encourage you to share it with anyone you know who might benefit from it. I also want to remind you that you can find full transcripts, videos, and detailed show notes with hyperlinks for each episode on the Arthritis Life website, plus full episode videos on the Arthritis Life YouTube channel. If you have any ideas for content for future episodes, or you want to share your story on the podcast, please send me, Cheryl, an email at info@myarthritislife.net. I can't wait to hear from you, and thanks so much again for your time.